What's up, people? I'm Old Spy, and welcome to my Bloodborne walkthrough. For those of you familiar with my Souls walkthroughs, you'll know that this is going to be a very simple and straightforward walkthrough. I'll try to be as minimal on the spoilers as I possibly can, so that you can enjoy the lore and all the other stuff, item discovery on your own. Just like my other walkthroughs with the Souls games, I'm going to be using just very basic equipment, nothing really fancy, just to demonstrate that these games can be overcome with, using the minimal tools. You don't need crazy weapons and stuff like that. So let's go ahead and get started.
Oh, yeah. Pale blood. Well, you've come to the right place. Yharnam is the home of blood ministration. You need only unravel its mystery. But where's an outsider like yourself to begin? Easy, with a bit of Yharnam blood of your own. But first, you'll need a contract.
Alright. So we are going to stick with the nameless theme for our name, although this time we're going to be a hunter instead of a knight. I think for Bloodborne I'm going to actually use a female character, change it up a little bit, and we are going to use the Cruel Fate, which is going to suit our build from the beginning much better than anything else. I already got our character created so that we don't have to waste time on that. And all right.
Good. All signed and sealed. Now, let's begin the transfusion. Oh, don't you worry. Whatever happens, you may think it all a mere bad dream.
You found yourself a hunter.
Okay, so starting off here, you can see we have no weapons. All right. We'll head out this way. And for this first stretch, we're really just gonna pretty much slide by all the enemies. You can fight them with your bare hands if you'd like, but there's really no need, so we're not going to do that. We don't even need to pick up the items right now. Just got to be careful about this guy. will eventually turn around here. Roll through. Around the corner. Let's draw this guy over here because we got to get a ladder to come down. Gonna pull the lever. Draw him back away so we don't get hit while we're climbing up. Let's start scooting up. Pretty cool here. He's gonna follow us up, but it's not gonna matter. So we hit the lamp here. This lamp now transports you back to the Hunter's Dream, and we're gonna go ahead and go to the Hunter's Dream. Okay, so the lamps are going to be how we travel around the world of Bloodborne, and this right here, the Hunter's Dream, is going to be our home base. This is where we're going to be able to figure out where we want to go, level up, buy items, upgrade our weapons. All of that stuff happens right here in the Hunter's Dream. We head up here, we see these guys, and they're going to give us our weapons. With this playthrough, they offer us 3 different ones. We're going to take the saw cleaver, which we're pretty much going to be using for most of the playthrough here. It's a great weapon, and it has some versatility that will really be helpful against a lot of different enemies. So we're going to go ahead and pick the saw cleaver. We get to choose our firearm. We're going to use the Hunter pistol. It's a little bit faster than the blunderbuss, and so that's what we're going to go with. Also get a notebook, which is an online thing to leave messages, which we're not really going to use since we're playing offline anyways for the sake of the walkthrough. We come in here, we got Gehrman. He's going to tell us a little bit about the place.
You must be the new hunter. Welcome to the Hunter's Dream. This will be your home for now. I am Gehrman, friend to you hunters. You're sure to be in a fine haze about now, but don't think too hard about all of this. Just go out and kill a few beasts. It's for your own good. You know, it's just what hunters do. You'll get used to it.
Alright. So over here is where we can fortify our weapons. Obviously we don't have any upgrade materials. You can also repair your weapons. Repairing your weapons is important in Bloodborne, so if you're going through and you've run through kind of a longer stretch, make sure that you are repairing your weapons. Also, if you upgrade or if you fortify your weapon, it will repair it to its maximum durability. So if you fortify, you don't have to worry about repairs, but if you haven't upgraded your weapon, then you will need to make sure that you're keeping track of repair. The memory altar, we're going to get to that later on. There's also storage for your items, anything that you pick up that you're not going to use. So I'd recommend putting in here to keep your inventory as clean as possible. We have a messenger bath here that you use insight instead of your blood echoes. Now if you look up in the top right corner of your screen, you'll see the little eye, the icon that looks like an eye and a number. We don't have any insight, but once we get some insight, we can buy stuff from here. And the other one, this one, we can trade blood echoes for certain items. So we can restock blood vials, quicksilver bullets, and anything else that we pick up, and we'll pick up badges which will allow us to upgrade that shop. Right here at the dial is where we will upgrade, but she is not active right now. So we'll have to go ahead and head out into the world and figure out how we can make her active. So let's go ahead and equip our weapons and head back in. Alright, so we're gonna start off back here at the clinic where we came down. This is actually the room that we started in, and now it's closed up. There's an NPC here that you can talk to. And keep in mind, excuse me, keep in mind that I'm only going to be talking to NPCs when they can give us relevant items to our playthrough. But if you want to go through the lore and all that stuff, what I recommend that you do is every time you come upon an NPC, exhaust the dialogue. So talk to that character until they keep repeating one line over and over again. And every time you go to a new area, or if you see that NPC again, always exhaust the dialogue, and that's going to progress their story throughout the game. So we're going to breeze through. We're not going to spend much time on the dialogue, and we're going to get the Yosefka's blood vial, which is basically just an upgraded blood vial, restoring a larger amount of HP. I typically never use it. I always have it in my inventory for the entire playthrough, but it can help you out early on, maybe for a boss fight or something, if you need a little bit of extra healing. So here we got that first werewolf that we ran by, the beast that we ran by, and we take him out no problem now that we got our weapons. We're starting to get some blood vials, which is how we're going to heal. And to use them, it is always triangle. So whenever you need to heal, you'll just hit triangle. Quicksilver bullets is how we do our interrupt attacks, which we'll look at here in a little bit. And the max starting off is 20 and 20 for each of those two items. So you can see we're maxed out in our quicksilver bullets. You see the saw cleaver is a really good weapon. I like to keep it like this, fighting basic enemies. Keep it folded up. You can extend it using L1. You can also do that mid combo. And when it's like this, it's better. I use this for the bigger enemies, larger enemies that you'll fight. But typically for mobs and enemies that can be staggered easy, I like to keep it in this form. Just looking at the weapon real quick, R1 is your basic attack, your power attack is R2, and that is actually how you stagger opponents and get them for like critical attacks. But you have to do that from behind, and I will demonstrate that in a little bit. Alright, so we're heading back up, and we're pretty much going to get started right here. So everything that we ran by, we've picked up. This is the first lamp, and this is where we're really going to start getting into Yharnam. Now, with this first area, which is Yharnam, and this is the central Yharnam lamp, excuse me, you're going to notice that this area is really divided into two loops, and we're going to work on the first one right now. So we're going to head this way. There's two ways to go. Obviously that gate's closed, so we're going to head this way. And really this first area is all about collecting items, getting your blood vials up, and making sure you got plenty of equipment, and also getting a few upgrades for our weapon. See, this guy's got a plank shield, and a nice way to stagger these guys is with an R1. Whoops. Well, R1, L1. If he's holding up the block, you can knock him off balance. Looking right here, we got a whole group. which can be pretty dangerous if you just rush in. What we're going to do is try to get behind them here. And if you're locked on against multiple enemies, I like to rotate back and forth. The shield guys aren't as aggressive as these guys, so just lure him back. There we go. You can see how that broke his guard, and we got some easy hits. So over there is a pretty tough enemy. We're going to come back to him. You can beat him right now, but he can be a little bit tricky, so we're going to come back to him in just a minute. Note these little incense burners by the doors, which means you can talk to NPCs. Well, really just you can talk to people in there, characters in there that, I guess, Yharnamites. So every time you see an incense burner, you can interact with those doors and get a little bit of dialogue. Guys are heading this way. We'll go ahead and lure them out. So you can see we got quite a few enemies up there. So for this area, you really just want to take your time. Don't rush through. And instead of just running straight out there at that whole mob, we're going to go ahead and slide up these stairs here. Watch out for this guy. Pick up the bloodstone shard, so that's our first upgrade item to upgrade our weapon. Watch out for that ambush. When we come this way, you can hear the bell ring. That's going to set those guys in motion. And they're going to be coming up for us. We want to take him out as quick as possible. Now we got a whole crew coming at us. So what I like to do when I have a bunch of these enemies like this, the basic guys, I like to lock on, swing once or twice at the enemy that's closest to me, and then start using my right analog stick to switch back and forth to hit some of the other enemies. Usually works pretty well. And I'll continue to demonstrate it. Oops. Also note that this game has a regen system, so that if you get hit, it will leave a little bit of light orange on your life bar, and while that's up, you can actually attack enemies and regain your health. So as we're fighting out here, we just want to be aware of the guys with the guns. You guys can see how I'm switching back and forth as I'm taking my swings when there's multiple enemies. Ooh. We're gonna let the guy with the cleaver. Alright, so that first big cluster of enemies is all cleared out. Like I said, if you just take your time right there, really nothing major. Easy to overcome. Basically just because the enemies are so easy to stagger and stun lock. Another upgrade item. And again, like, we're just going through collecting items. That's what this is all about. And Bloodborne, one of the things I love about Bloodborne compared to the Souls games is that the items and the equipment that you pick up are always super useful. I feel a lot of times when I'm playing through Souls games, you know, you pick up a lot of items and consumables and stuff like that, but you never really need to use them. In this game, taking advantage of your items and your equipment is really useful. Alright, that's like interrupt attack there. That's L2, and you want to use that when the enemy is about to attack you. So when their attack is really coming at you, that's when you use the interrupt. If you do it too early, they're just going to go right through it, most enemies. If you do it too late, obviously you're going to get hit. So it's a timing thing that I recommend practicing until you've got it down. Now each enemy is obviously going to be a little bit different, but once you get the hang of it, you can pretty much be prepared for any enemy. I typically use the interrupts on bigger enemies. And I don't really mess around with it with the smaller guys. Since they can be stun locked, it's not really useful. Got a little mini mob up here with a couple of dogs, so you do definitely want to be careful right here at this corner. Want to fight them one at a time whenever possible. Now dogs don't like to be shot. You can shoot the dogs to knock them down and then go in and kill them. It makes them a little bit easier to deal with.
You are cursed.
See, we got our blood vials maxed out, which is really good. Alright, so up here on this bridge, be very careful. Early on, these guys are pretty difficult to deal with. Come back here, get another upgrade item. And what I would recommend at this point is just kind of sliding on by those guys. There's no real reason to fight them, so we're just going to continue on with the level. And we can come back and kill them whenever we need to. Or actually whenever we want to, because we don't really need to kill them. You can go through this entire level without messing with them. So as you can see, we're going to be ready for an upgrade when we get back to the Hunter's Dream. Alright, drop down here. And we've got a brand new enemy type. Now these guys are really easy to interrupt. See how I got hit there? I was a little bit late, but I actually got my health back because of the regen. Once again, boom. So you do have a little bit of leeway when it comes to the interrupts. You don't always have to be perfect as long as you have enough health to survive a hit or a partial hit. So we see item here. What I like to do for the drop downs is just kind of put the wherever you're trying to drop onto under your head. Step right off. So the cold blood items are basically like your soul items in the Souls games. Gives you blood echoes when you use them. So that's what those are all about. There we go. And right here, we can now officially become a hunter. Now we're looking pretty good. Go ahead and drop down. And you can actually fall a pretty long distance in Bloodborne without dying. So, all right, a couple ways to go. You can head down that way. We're gonna go this way. We're gonna go up. We'll be coming back through here on our second loop of Yharnam. So don't worry about any of this stuff right now. These guys are more annoying than anything else. Alright. So, Madmen's Knowledge. These are the items that we're going to use to gain insight. And we actually need one insight to bring the doll to life so that we can start leveling up. So, now we've got it where we can level up. Right, let's open up this gate, and you can see over here we've got an incense burner. And now I would recommend that you talk to this NPC. Find the girl's mother, and you will get the tiny music box, which will help you if you're struggling with an upcoming boss. See, we're back here by the fountain. And we're going to open up a shortcut here. Heading back here, this guy is a great source early on for quicksilver bullets. Every time you kill him, he's going to drop quicksilver bullets. So if you're running short, you can just come in here and take him out and get your quicksilver bullet count up. Slide through here. Get hit by that guy. And now can open up this, and we are right back at the starting land. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and use our Madman's Knowledge to give us one insight, and we can, from here we can go fight the boss. But what I'm going to recommend is that we head back and upgrade and level up, and then we'll come back and fight the boss. So let's return to the Hunter's Dream. And now that we're here, we see the doll is standing, and she is ready to level us up. We got an item here, which we get multiplayer items. So we're not going to be using those, but just know that's where you get that. And the old hunter bell, which will allow us to summon NPCs to help us at various points. Taking a quick look, beckoning bell is used to get people to summon people into your world to help you out, actual other players. And then the silencing blank will just stop your search. Alright. Come in here. First thing we're going to do is let's use our items. Let's go ahead and fortify our saw cleaver. We get +1. We need 2 more bloodstone shards for the next upgrade. We don't need to repair. I'm going to clean up our inventory here. Do need to equip that torch. Go ahead and put that on. Torch is really useful, so we will be using that. And let's go ahead and get a couple levels, and I can talk about what we're going to do for this build.
Hunter, I, honorable hunter, and I, you will twin.
Channel blood echoes.
Well, let me.
Alright, so vitality is going to level up our hit points, our HP. Endurance is going to level up our stamina. Strength is going to be used for strength weapons, and I will show you what I'm talking about here. Skill for skill weapons. Blood tinge, I believe, is for your firearms, and then arcane is for any kind of arcane items or weapons. What we're going to do is we're going to focus on getting our vitality and endurance up to the soft caps, which vitality will be 30, endurance will be 40, and then we're going to work on getting our strength and skill up to 25. We're going to take arcane to 50 so that we can use 2 hunter's tools throughout our playthrough, and that will really be what we're looking at for the build. After we hit those points, then we can just kind of go from there. But what I would really focus on right away is working on your vitality and your endurance. Those 2 are going to be key. Survivability is going to be your best friend. And we're going to use upgrades, our weapon upgrades, for damage. So we'll upgrade our weapon to get more damage, and then we're going to work on our stats. It's going to be vitality, endurance, for survivability. So what I was talking about with skill and strength, if you look at our attribute bonus there in the center all the way down at the bottom with the gray boxes, you can see some scaling. So the saw cleaver scales a little bit better with strength right now, and we're going to pick up another weapon that will scale a little bit better with skill. So this way we're going to keep those on the same level. That way we can switch back and forth, because we will need to switch our weapon up just a little bit for different areas. Alright, so we're in good shape now. We're going to head back, we're going to fight the boss, and that will wrap up our first episode. So we're going to go ahead and equip a few items here. We're going to use the oil urn, which will cover our target in oil. And then we're going to use the Molotovs, which is obviously going to explode into fire when we hit them. And with the oil, it's going to make it that much more effective. You can also see that these items do scale. So you can see the star down there. The attribute bonus is an A, so it will scale with your arcane, which is really cool. I really like that. In terms of your items, so that they become more useful, and you know, they don't really lose their usefulness, I guess. Alright, so we go through here, come on up. Take these guys out. up here is that bridge where the two beasts were. Again, you can take those guys out whenever you want. I'm just not going to mess with them because we really don't need to. Be careful here. Let this guy come out. And you can see we're doing more damage now. So one visceral attack takes him out, so we don't even need to follow up anymore. And here's our first boss fight. Cleric beast. So this beast is, or this boss is weak to fire and serrated, which is what our weapon does in this form. Serrated damage. Now, using your items, you want to hit them with that may have missed. Hit him with the oil urn, then start chucking Molotovs. If you hear that sound, run up and get a visceral attack on it. And again, if you're struggling, items will make this fight much easier. Do not be afraid to use your items. That's why they put them in this game. Going after the big arm is probably the easiest to hit. The only part about this boss that can be really annoying is the camera, because it's so huge and there's such a confined space here on the bridge. That can get you in some trouble, as I miss with my Molotov. So sometimes fighting unlocked can be a little bit easier if you're having trouble with the camera. Got a little bit greedy there. Always remember not to get greedy. And there you go. Watch the attacks, watch your health bar getting close. Use your Molotovs if you like. And the main thing is, I mean, it's sometimes it's tough. But if you're doing good damage, you should be alright. Let's go ahead and return to the Hunter's Dream. And that is going to wrap it up for this episode. So we're off to a pretty good start, and hopefully we can continue that. I'll see you on the next episode.